Hi, I'm Paul Hefner, and today I'm going to share my story of how I lost 50 pounds. It's a little bit, I've been actually delaying doing this video for a long time, and I'll sort of get into some of that. But anyway, I guess I want to start with a bunch of disclaimers and sort of why I didn't want to do it. I think, weight loss is something a lot of people struggle with. I'm not a medical professional. I just sort of wanted to share my story. I think there's some good that can come out of this. Um, and so that's the main reason I wanted to do it. I have daughters. I had a sister who had eating issues when she was younger, so I'm not trying to contribute to any of that. And I know there's all sorts of issues with losing muscle versus um, fat and losing water weight and all these different things. So just take all this with a grain of salt. And the main thing that coming out of this is to give you some tools, which is to start tracking your weight and start seeing what works for your body. And that's sort of the main outcome of this. So with that, I will get into it. So here's a blog post that I wrote, and then I just wanted to record a video to insert into it, and hopefully I'll have some additional info in the video versus the blog post because I um, got tired of typing. It's already pretty long. So during 2019, this is just prior to COVID, I weighed about 195. There's probably times I weighed close to 200 pounds. But just for rough math, that's about what I weighed on average. And then I got down to 145 pounds. And then over the years, since then, my weight has sort of gone up and down. I'm around 160 now. Anyway, these are some of the things that I've done to lose the weight, I guess. So the first thing I did is I started tracking my weight. And I'm a numbers guy. I firmly believe that whatever you measure and track, you can improve. And I sort of well, yeah, I'll get into that later. So I'm going to jump around a lot because this is such just a crazy topic. So when I first started tracking it, I would weigh myself, probably 15 times a day because I was just curious. Like if I went for a run, how much weight did I lose? I drank an Nalgene of water, if I went potty, if I ate a cupcake, my wife is in the medical field and she said, well, these changes take time to get into your body. But I could sort of see the changes and especially day to day, if I, had a big steak and ate a bunch of cupcakes, my weight would go up. And if I, ate less the day before, then my weight would stay the same or go down. So I could start to come up with sort of these ideas of what was driving my weight. And I literally just had a note on my phone, so it was really easy to just track, and I would put the date. Today is July 3rd, 2023, and my weight is 200 pounds or 150 pounds, whatever it is. And sometimes I would put a note saying ate July 4th cupcakes or ate salad or whatever I didn't, it wasn't really that detailed in it. And I know there's apps where you can track all the foods and things you eat. I never used anything like that, but I think it would be helpful. I just sort of, was more interested in tracking my weight and sort of seeing how it went. And then sort of the next step after you start doing that is sort of, start to create a forecast of what you think the scale is going to say. And this is very disheartening because sometimes you'll do everything right and you'll weigh and your weight will have gone up. And other times, maybe you aren't as healthy and you weigh yourself and the weight's gone down. So I don't know all the things that are driving that, but I think what you can start to do is look for the trends and say, okay, in general, I think I can have my weight stay the same or go down if I eat healthy and I exercise. And then you'll see some days where it goes up. And then when it goes up and you weren't expecting it, I think that's where the real value sort of comes in. Instead of getting frustrated, about it, I sort of would get curious about it, and I'll share some of those observations in the bullets to come, I guess. And so I guess um, yeah, the example I gave here is there was, I sort of had a formula where I would eat cereal a lot, and that seemed low calories. I think it's like 200 calories. Um, and normally when I eat cereal, my weight would go down. And there was a few times where I would eat I don't know, just be super hungry, eating a ton of Cheerios, and uh, my weight wouldn't go down that much. And I sort of started investigating, and then I don't know if this is 100% true, but I think there's some truth to it. It was based on how much milk I was drinking. So I was putting milk in the cereal, and I would drink the bowl of milk afterwards, and I would, I think the milk was probably driving it more a lot or more or less because I think when I was losing a lot of the weight, I was literally actually I have a bag right here. Not, but I have a bag of Cheerios like a Ziploc, and so I still have this sort of I don't know what to call it, habit. And so, but when I first started doing it, I would literally just, that's how I would eat my lunch. I would just have a bag of Cheerios. And then since then, we've moved and it's easier for me to work from home. And I was eating, full cereal. So anyways, I was curious about it, figured it out. And so I, discovered that I think it's the milk. So, that's where I would, start to get curious. So I think, some of these things, maybe they make sense. Maybe you've heard them before. I think a lot of this is sort of common sense. But these are my observations. Some of them maybe be more shocking or more controversial. But I think, what I think is what I eat is more important than the amount of exercise and the whatever we call it. Naysayers or whoever the critics would say, maybe I'm just losing muscle and not losing fat. But I think over a short amount of time, my muscles not going to change that much, and I've tried to be pretty consistent with how fast I can run a mile or how many miles I can run or how many push-ups I can do, and so I'm trying to be consistent with those things. So I don't think it's that, but it's sort of this just a misconception. And even when I first, well, I guess I have the word here. This one was a shocker. I think I wanted to be able to exercise and eat whatever I want and still lose weight. And there was times when I would run 10 miles or I would, do crazy workouts, and then I would reward myself afterwards, and I would either not lose weight or not lose as much as I wanted, or probably even gain weight in some situations. And I just didn't understand the formula that worked for my body. And I would, go to the pool and people would say, "Hey, you look great. Like, I need to start exercising more." And that was their sort of solution. So I think the first observation or thing that I made is like, what I ate was way more important. And I'll get into some of the things I ate later. I'll start with things that are to not eat or to not do. And so sugar was number one. I think when I, would look at, I wasn't super, how to call it. Well, I think I did start looking at all the nutrition facts and trying to figure out how much sugar was in different things. So I ultimately picked Cheerios as my cereal of choice because it had less sugar than most of the other cereals. And some of those choices helped. And then also looking at things like I have Gatorade here mentioned. I would go for a run, and sometimes I would hit or take the little chews to give me energy. I would finish the run and I would, be thirsty. And I would drink like 2 12-ounce Gatorades, the fruit punch kind, because they're awesome. And that was just what I did. I think I, grew up in the era where Gatorade was like one of those things you have, during and after your workouts to give you energy. And it gives you energy. It's great. And I'm not saying don't drink Gatorade. But what I didn't realize is there, if you look at the nutrition things, it's like 40 or 50% of your daily um, value of sugar. So if I had two Gatorades, I was probably close to 100% of my sugar for the day. And that's not going to help with weight loss. It might help me, have more energy. It might help me, run a faster marathon time or 10K run or whatever. And again, these are competing priorities. I don't know what your goals are, but for the sake of this video and article, it was about, limiting my sugar, especially desserts, cupcakes. I don't know if oh yeah, I mentioned it here, we bake a lot in our house. We always have sugar around. We go to swim meets and, our kids eat tons of sugar, which we can talk about if that's healthy for them. But, for me to lose weight, eating all those gummies and cakes and stuff was not the best. This one's another one that may or may not be controversial for you. But when during the course of my weight loss, I stopped drinking. And initially, I craved sugar afterwards. I had a bunch of milkshakes. I wasn't stopping drinking to lose weight. I was just doing it to be healthier. And ultimately, the two sort of worked together. And I there's a lot of things that go into it, and you'll see even later I have sparkling water listed as something to not drink. But I think that the sugar and the alcohol, the sort of what it does to your inhibitions, maybe you get the munchies and eat more, maybe you have a hangover the next day and are eating to sort of cure that, or eating comfort food, or just making not the healthiest decisions. Um, all those things sort of come up, and I've talked to some other people that have lost weight, and a lot of them have mentioned that cutting back on alcohol. There's I have a friend that does, I think it's called Sober October or something like that. And so every year they don't drink for that month, and they're able to shed a bunch of weight during that month because they just, are limiting the alcohol. So I think it's something to look at. We'll get into some other observations. So weekends versus weekdays. I don't know if this is common for other people, but at least for me, when I was tracking my weight daily, I would, tend to lose weight during the weekdays. I sort of had a set routine. I'd wake up, I'd have cereal, I'd work, eat some lunch, come home, eat some dinner, and there wasn't a lot of variety. But on the weekends, we're picking, family trips, we're eating fast food, we're having birthday parties with cake, or just, I don't know, snacking throughout the day. We've got young kids, so they eat like every 2 hours, and when they eat, I eat, or they're eating. I don't know, whatever it is. So I think there's something to that. And then I think on the weekends you also reward yourself. So you get to Friday, you're like, great, I made it through the week. I'm gonna, you know, have some dessert or eat, get go out to eat, have a special dinner, whatever it is. I think that I sort of saw those trends. And so, on a typical week, I would sort of lose weight during the week and then gain it back on the weekend. And, on a really good week, I might, lose, 1 or 2 pounds for the week. Which gets to the next point about being a marathon and not a sprint. But I think that if there were ever any weekends where I could just eat super healthy, then I would, maybe bump that up to 3 or more pounds a week. So look at the weekends versus the weekdays. The next one is where I was scoring is, this is not an overnight change. It's really about being consistent, because I think what I found is that I can, on the best day, maybe lose a pound, and on the worst day, gain 2 or 3 pounds. And so the formula on a day-to-day basis doesn't make sense. And so it's really about being consistent, because you can easily, have a week where you eat healthy, all during the week. And then just on the weekend, you could, have a few days where you eat tons of sugar and tons of actually, just total calories, and your weight could go up for the week. So that's the point of that one. And I think this is another thing that is interesting is what I found is not have anything, but it's if I had a specific goal, like, hey, I'm going to Hawaii and family vacation, or I want, had some, goals sort of like 1 year from when I started, which I think the whole my first weight loss journey took about a year. Um, and so sort of when that 1 year sort of milestone was coming around, I was like, great, like I'm gonna try to like really get to my goal here. Um, and so that helped having those goals. And then also realizing that, this isn't for the rest of your life. I don't want to not eat dessert or have steaks or, whatever other foods you love. That's not my goal here. My goal was just to sort of make some temporary changes, lose some weight, and sort of get to a better spot, and then I can sort of go back to sort of trying to be in a maintenance phase versus sort of a losing weight phase. This one was interesting. Yeah, I don't know the reasons why behind this, but what I found is that when I eat sushi, I'll do them one by one. Um, I guess I always thought sushi was healthy, or sorry, it is, I'm sure, very healthy because you're eating fish, which is a very good protein. A lot of times you're having vegetables with it, like California rolls or avocado rolls, and something I don't know, when I tracked my weight, I would always gain weight the days when we would go out and eat sushi. And I think there's probably a few things. I think probably some of it might be the soy sauce. You sort of maybe it's has something in it that makes you retain water. So it might be some of that. It might be that because the sushi rolls are so small. I mean, if you eat just a ton of them, maybe you think they're not filling you up. There's all the different sort of reasons why. Um, and so, now when I eat sushi, which I still eat sushi, I just try to eat less of it. So I sort of am pickier about my rolls. And I think there's the other thing too, like, sushi, I don't think I have a particular topic on this one. Um, maybe I'll add it after the fact. But sushi you can't save, or at least I don't know. We don't save it in our house because we don't want it to go bad and eat bad fish. And so it's like you have to eat it all. There's no leftovers. And so there's this all these reasons you end up sort of overeating. Or I think you overeat, and that might be leading to it. The next one was sparkling water. So I think sparkling water is a great substitute for drinking alcohol. It tastes good. It's fizzy. We go through phases. We're on a Topo Chico phase right now, and um, I don't know. There's something about it on the nights when I drink sparkling water, I tend to not lose as much weight or tend to even gain weight. And I'm not sure it's because there's something in the sparkling water, there's something that the sparkling water does to my stomach to make me not feel as full and I eat more, or whatever it is. There's something going on there worth exploring. And this is, my body, your body may be really different. Um, and I've talked to athletes and stuff, nutritionists, and they say the carbonation isn't as good for you as regular water. So there might be something there. I don't really know, but it's just something that I'll call out is um, it's something that I uncovered that's worth sharing. Maybe it applies to you, maybe it doesn't. And the last one was like restaurant salads. So, here I am, trying to be healthy. I'm like, great, I'll eat a salad out at, Mud Market or Panera, or, even I still eat out for a lot of networking events, so different steakhouses and things. I'm like, great, I'm going to eat a salad. Um, and yeah, I don't even know. Sometimes even like the half salad at Panera, some of those places, like I would eat those and I would still, um, somehow gain weight for the day. And I think there's a few things going on here. And this is again just all my guesses, not being a nutritionist or really understanding all the science behind it. I think the first thing is, the restaurants obviously want it to taste good. And so maybe they're adding, extra dressing or um, I don't know, candied walnuts or chicken or whatever it is, if they want it to taste good. So that's part of it. I think there's also something like a lot of times, especially for networking stuff, we're having it during lunch. Um, and that you come back from lunch, you're sort of tired, you've eaten a lot, you're full. And then you end up, I feel like you end up eating more or snacking throughout the day more, or eating more for dinner, or you're just like, hey, this food was really good. Like, I'd like to have some other good food. Um, and I don't know, just sort of all those things between either the calories in it that even though it's healthy and maybe well, I will definitely say it's healthier than if I just, went out to a steak restaurant and got a big steak. Um, but it's, yeah, there's some stuff to explore there. I won't get into all of it. That's just something I noticed is those restaurant salads. So I think they're great to eat. I just try to eat, maybe not finish the entire, salad if I'm trying to lose weight, I guess. So those are some of the things, and then some of the things to eat. For me, the first part was, I would Google. I had no idea, but we have Google out there as a resource. I would say, what are healthy foods, and they would always come back, fruits, vegetables, and nuts. They would come back with specific things like spinach and. I don't even know. I ate a lot of spinach and kale and arugula. I think those are all good. I usually get the 50-50 salad mix or 50-50 mix of those things. Um, and so those are good. We do a lot of broccoli, asparagus, all those types of things. Avocados are a healthier, I don't know what you call it, not healthier, but like a good fat thing, which I don't really understand what that means. Um, and then fruits, tons of strawberries and apples and bananas and blueberries and then more exotic fruits. We have pineapple and mangoes and all sorts of stuff, but strawberries and apples and bananas and blueberries are our staple. And then lots of nuts. Let's see, we have cashews, which I don't think are as healthy because they taste good. Um, Almonds, walnuts, then some of the seeds, which I should add in there, but sunflower and pumpkin. And anyway, so I take all those, and then we have some chia and flax seeds. We put those on the salads. If I make a smoothie or whatever, I'll put those in there. I need to add a link to I just realized I need to add a link to another article I wrote on green smoothies. But anyway, so those are some of the things that are the best. But Google, what you want, and you can also look at other things like what are the best foods for sleep, what are the best foods for weight loss, what are the best foods for energy. They even have like stuff around now, like foods that are better for anxiety or stress or depression or even certain things like I don't know, I want to touch this too far, but I'm pretty sure there's foods now they think are better for dementia or Parkinson's or whatever. So there's lots of new things. I think there's going to be a new. I would from what I'm hearing, it's going to be sort of a renewed focus on some of these foods and what their sort of benefits are. So like what's good to eat. And then also looking at sort of some of the nutrition facts and changing around, but that's another whole topic. Another thing was the stages of change, and this sort of happens every sort of year. So tend to sort of lose weight for the summer, and then sort of gain it back in the fall or something. Just when it gets cold out, your body, I don't know, sort of craves food, and then coming into Halloween, there's lots of candy, and then Thanksgiving and the holidays and all that stuff. Um, so what's good about me sort of waiting to post this is, I've been through a few of these cycles now because I first started losing weight in 2019 and it's 2023 now. So we're, sort of 3 years in, I guess, from when I started. And so every year I sort of end up in this sort of pre-contemplation. And not even that, it's more a contemplation. I'm sort of saying, hey, I'm ready to lose some weight. Let's take off a couple pounds for the spring or summer. And then I start tracking my weight because a lot of times during the winter, I don't even really track my weight. And then I sort of, expect the weight to just go away or to fall off, but it doesn't. And I realize it's just that I'm not sort of fully committed yet. I'm sort of trying it out, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll eat a few salads here and there, and but I still want to eat dessert, and I still want a cheeseburger, and I still want all these things. I'm just gonna just try to lose the weight without putting the work in, and it then usually takes a few tries or goes of that, or even, you lose, a few pounds, and then, you have a few bad weeks and it goes back up, and you're not sort of being consistent. So whatever it is, you're sort of just not, all the way committed. And so eventually then you make the changes. Okay, now I'm, not going to eat any desserts for, maybe the next month, and I'm, going to eat salads, every day for lunch, or whatever it is. You make the changes, for your sort of formula, and then you get more into this action phase. So, I think that's important to call out, and I think it's fine. I think it's natural in your body. You don't want to sacrifice if you don't have to. So I think that's, um, perfectly healthy, and just worth mentioning, because I found it happening every year. Okay, so I gave this, talk, not this exact talk, but it was a different blog post on, ways to be happier, and one of the topics was weight change or losing weight. And I'm not sure if it was snarky or not, but some audience members asked for before and after photos. I didn't have any then, but I figured for this, blog post, I would, include some. And so I think, there's a few things to note. I was always super skeptical of before and after pictures, of like the timing, like were they really like reversed and was like after and before, or was it, photoshopped or whatever. And you'll see my photos here are not the best photos. But you will be able to see, I think, both, sort of my stomach photos, which, are not whatever. And then, also, which I think you see it in my face as well, which is probably, I don't think I realized that, but, you started losing weight, throughout, your body, not just, in the, areas you want to lose weight. So I think, but you can see it. So here are the photos, in their honor whatsoever. This was a picture in Hawaii. So my wife and I, went scuba diving. We saw a bunch of turtles. And anyway, so there's a picture of me without my shirt on. Here's another before photo. It's a family photo. We're, only two kids here, so we have a third kid. So it helps establish, timeline. And you can see my face is just, even from this picture to my face in the video here, you can see there's a difference, and you'll see it. I mean, I don't know, you can see it. But yes, I think you can see that, as well. And then here's the after photos. This was, our youngest, Sophie, and I'm just holding her. So not the best photo to really see, my ripping abs or anything, which I don't have any, but you can see that, if you compare the two, I think you can see the difference. So, okay. Sort of, anyway, I think that there's another reason it's really hard to do any sort of weight loss article, or, um, I don't know. There's lots of fads out there. So Ozempic's probably the biggest fad right now. I think we actually have lots of friends, that are, doing that. It seems to be working. I don't know the long-term impacts of that. I think if you were to talk to nutritionists and stuff, they might say that, they're skeptical, they might lose or gain it all back. I don't really know. There's intuitive eating. I listened to a podcast called 10% Happier. They talk a lot about that. And I think, there's probably good and bad in all these things. But the intuitive eating is sort of, listening to your body, and, once you, um, feel like you're full, stop eating, is sort of the basis of it. But I don't know. It feels, well, first of all, I don't know if you're going to lose weight doing intuitive eating, but it might make you overall happier, which I think is the point of that podcast. And so obviously, my goals are not to make you obsessed about your weight. I think there's even, I don't think I listed it here, but you can do tracker breaks, where you don't track your weight for a while, and I usually do that during the winter, or once I reach my desired weight. Um, and there's other things like intermittent fasting. I don't know if I spelled that right, but I think if you consume less calories, that can lead to weight loss. There's all the different keto and paleo and different diets. I don't, know much about all those things, but I think if you try those things and they work, and then you should, be open to doing them. For me, it was just straight, calories. Could I eat fruits, vegetables, all the stuff I mentioned earlier, fruits and vegetables, and, um, and nuts and Cheerios and sort of get the weight loss that I could, and that seemed maybe healthier than some of these other things. But anyway, like I said, I'm not a specialist on this. So finish with some positive stuff. So I don't know. I think you can do it if you're watching this. Hopefully, you're on the way to moving in that during the stages of change to more of that action phase. I realize there may be people that might have, I don't know the right word for it, genes or other things in their body, or their body's different. I'm lucky in that I'm, a taller, skinny male. I don't know if that matters at all, but hopefully you can take something from some of these things around, tracking your weight and seeing what works and what doesn't work. Is sort of the goal of it. So I don't know what will work for you, but hopefully you'll be able to find something and then not be, they say here, not to become too obsessed about it, which I think is easy to do, but that's not my goal. And then also looking at, other things, like when you make some of these changes, like how does, besides weight, what happens to your mood, your sleep, your energy? And I mentioned, there's lots of foods for different things like anxiety and things like that. I don't know. I think it's really interesting to explore. And I'll share this sort of funny story. It was, well, I guess a few funny stories. One is, I can fit back into my high school shorts I had in high school. It's super, it's good and bad because, they have pleats in them. They're out of style. I still wear them because, whatever, they fit. Um, and Before, when I would wear these shorts, which I'm not sure why I have so many shorts from high school, I should probably just buy some new ones. But I would try them on, and the buttons would fall off and things, and I would have my mother-in-law sew them back on when she came out to visit for holidays and things. But either way, it feels good to see it, and I see it. When I was losing the weight, about every 10 pounds I lost, I'd go down one size, or I mean, I actually see it, super easy on the belt, so you have the different belt holes, and, I could see, where I used to, because when you put the belt in, it sort of makes, I don't know what you call it, like a indention, like where you are doing it. And then I could see it, going down to the smaller holes. And so that felt like, hey, I'm losing weight and losing weight in the places that I want. And then I would, also see it and sort of, I don't know, like my running times would start getting better and things like that. So it was super reinforcing the progress. And then also, when I was doing a lot of this, I had our now middle kid weighed about 40 pounds, and I would do push-ups, and he would get on my back, and it was so much harder to do push-ups with him on my back. And I realized, the weight is more concentrated when he's on my back versus, I probably had, weight that I, lost in my toes and my face and things like that. But yeah, it was always like a motivator, like, okay, well, this is, mentally, how much weight I've lost, and then to have it sort of be put back on and try to do something like a push-up, is a lot harder. So it felt good to know that I wasn't carrying that weight around anymore. So yeah, I don't have any great closing thoughts, but thank you for watching if you have watched this far. And I wish you luck. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day and good luck. Thank you.